Hello, welcome to Winter Disco Tabletop Gaming. In this video, we're going to have a little in-depth look at the new Space Marine Heroes 3, the Death Guard thing of 6 different models. I say it's new, it's really not new. It's been out in Japan since January or February this year, 2020. It could have actually been last year. We finally get it in the Western world. At the 8th of November 2020, you can pre-order it on Games Workshop and other locations. I am very excited about this. I do love the idea of the Space Marine Heroes release. I thought the first 2 series were cool with just standard Space Marines and then Blood Angels Terminators. If you've seen a lot of other videos, particularly my Death Guard review series, you can go check that out. I think it's like 3 or 4 videos there. I want more Death Guard. My opinion is every Death Guard model should be unique in some way. And I think there is a distinct lack of Death Guard standard Space Marines. Everyone is slightly different. They got different pockmarks and poxes and different tentacles and armor that's just sort of jammed together. Enough about that. What do you actually get? So if you're not aware of what like a blind box is, basically you buy a box and you don't know what model's in it. In this case, we only get 6. That's okay. So on the screen at the moment, I've got the main models up there. So the box itself is $72 US for 6 in there, I'm standing correct, and you get every model in that box. So instead of just going to the store and spending, I think $14 each on a box US, I think, you get all of them for $72. Pretty good. So what we're going to do, we're going to go through each of the models and talk about them because I love them. First up, we're going to look at Claudius. Is armed with a plague sword and carrying an icon of despair. So what I love about this model, so many tentacles. It's the armor panels themselves, pretty straightforward, very simple, not much going on there. But with all the different tentacles and there's actually 3 weird looking worm Nurgly things, which I don't recall from any other Nurgle or Death Guard model. I don't think so. I don't recall them existing previously. So I like it. I think it's a cool, that little addition is like, oh, that's something new and interesting. And you have like the big tentacle popping out the side of his belly and the armor cracking under the weight of that. More tentacles all over the place. And then with the icon itself, you've got a little beat up Nurgle stuck in there. Very cute. So all the models in this series have their own Nurgle. And I think that's a really cute touch because I think Nurgles are pretty cool. Well, not Nurgles, sorry, Nurglings, I should say. So I think every Death Guard should have their own little Nurgling friend. Maybe not even a friend, it's just a Nurgling that's become enamored with them and just follows them around and just gets in the way. I just think that's kind of cool. I don't think the Death Guard warrior would really even care. I love the face, the single eye, and then the armor that's somewhat of a mouth, a maw that's gaping open and probably would be dripping some kind of pus and ooze, just disgusting stuff. Yeah, I like the model. Like I said, every model should be unique in this army. And with this one, you do get another one with an icon of despair. So you can throw that into a unit and carry on with that. Very cool looking model. Next up, let's have a look at Gerg the Foul. So even though there's 2 Nurglings in this one, it's probably the most plain of all the models, but that's okay. It has the very iconic old school backpack, power pack with those weird extruding vents coming out, which is cool. The classic spike helmet with you can't say it's a single eye lens, but it's 2 eye lenses that are joined, and then the grates that go all the way down the panel of the armor. I love that helmet. I love the design. It's really cool. And again, yeah, like I said, you got the 2 Nurglings, one that's hanging onto the shoulder pad and one that's carrying a skull, probably like a human skull or something. Very cute. Very nice. I like it. I love the shoulder pad with all the skulls. Again, like I said, there's not too much adornment going on. I would like to see the back. It does look off the right-hand shoulder that there are some, I guess, chainmail, which is cool. I love that aesthetic for Death Guard. Just chainmail and tabards. Really odd. It's a strange mix, but it makes sense. It's 40k. It's grimdark. You know it makes sense. So yeah, I do like this model. It's cool. Like I said, it's plain. It's probably the plainest one of them, but it's cool. Big chunky bolt gun with a huge barrel, actually. That looks really big. I don't know if the barrel is already drilled out in the model. I wouldn't think so, but we'll wait and see. We do have some sprues, so I do have the sprues on at the same time as this model, so you can check that out in the sprue themselves. So they all are multiple bits, lots of different bits and pieces. So it's kind of cool. I think they're kind of push fit, but yeah, they look to be push fit. But that's kind of cool. All right, next up, let's look at Cholera, named after cholera, which is very nice. This guy has his bolt gun strapped to his side, has some grenades, and he's got a nice stick grenade. He's about to throw it. And of course, the Nurgle. Very cool. Has the big, bulky backpack with the big drum, I guess, at the top, which you do see in a few of the Death Guard. And again, like just lots of pock marks on it, lots of pox marks. They're two different things. Pock marks are the holes. Pox marks are, the green bits. A little bit of chainmail. Like again, this is a very simple model, but I like the stance that it has. Different to what you're getting in the box sets for the multi-part kit and the easy to build kits that you could have got in Dark Imperium, which one day, hopefully, all those models will get released. Let's hope. I think they will at some point. When the Death Guard box comes out, they'll release a new Combat Patrol box, and it'll have a lot of those models. I'm calling it. I think it's going to happen, and I'm excited. I'll probably pick it up. I love the top of the body armor at the torso that has that kind of vent with all the ooze dripping out, and it's all corroded. Very cool. Yeah, I mean, again, a simple model, not much going on this one, but all the same, it just gives you that extra model. It's understated, but it's another pose, which is very cool. So that is Cholera. So next up, let's look at Morslug. He's armed with a Plague Spear, and this is probably one of my favorite models in the kit. Very stoic stance, very chunky body. I love how they have the variation in the body sizes, how some are a bit more rotund than others, some are a bit thinner, but as he's essentially a heavy weapons specialist. I don't know if a Plague Spear is classed as a heavy weapon. I think it is, but that's cool. This one is starting to get a little bit far, like the top of the backpack, which again is that huge barrel on the back, which I really love. The shoulder pad, that yellowy bit, and the blue sort of, I don't really know what they're called. They're not vents. They're similar to what you get on Tyranids. So it's an organic structure. I don't really know what to call it. Let's just call it a fungus. Some kind of fungus. I love that it's completely growing out of the Death Guard itself and also on the ground. And of course, his little friend down the bottom got it growing too, and he's sort of eating up all that plague spew that's coming out of the gun itself. He's getting all up in there. He loves it. So yeah, I'd actually really like this one. Again, like the model itself overall is very simple. I think with a lot of the other Plague Marines, they have a lot more pockmarks, a lot more tentacles coming out. Again, there could be tons of tentacles on the back. I just don't have a 360 of this at the moment. But yeah, it's very simple. Probably a little bit too simple. I think probably having a tentacle possibly coming out of the right arm or out of the chest area would be nice. And if you want that, just go buy some poxwalkers and just glue stuff on and you'll be fine. That's what I think this is missing. But I love the helmet, the 3 eye holes with one crying. He's a sad boy. He's a sad boy because he's about to use all the plague spew. Poor boy. But yeah, I like it. I mean, very chunky gun, very chunky cable. I'm a big fan of chunky eroded cables on Death Guard models. So it's a very cool model. Now, what else have we got? We have Scabbath. So Scabbath has what's he got? It's Flail of Corruption. And we're going to come back and talk about the little Nurgling there holding on. I think that's really cute. This is probably one of my favorite models. Other than the Claudius, which is as the plague standard, the icon bearer there. It's a very strong model stance, very strong silhouette. I talk about silhouettes a lot. So if you haven't heard me talk about it, basically, if you just make this a black image and a white background, you'll be able to identify it pretty easily. It's very clear what it is because you'd have the flail itself in that particular pose. You have the bone coming out of that shoulder on the other side. You have the backpack as well. So if you do that, you can do it in Photoshop. You can see like, oh, okay, that's a Plague Marine. Very simple Plague Marine. And again, this one's a bit more, a bit more detailed than the last 2 that I showed. So Morslug and Claudius, even Gerg the Foul. It has a lot more detail, so a lot more spikes, a lot more tentacles, has the chainmail and the tabard and the metal armor tabard as well. And I love this helmet. It's a move beyond the classic Death Guard helmet of the spike on the top and the 2 eyes and basically a single armor helmet piece that goes all the way over the face down to the neck. And we have that weird slot right in the middle, which for a normal Space Marine wouldn't work because they don't have one eye, with Death Guard Marines because they're so mutated in glorious ways. And some of them are more blessed by Grandfather Nurgle than others. He's probably got one eye in there, or his eyes have all merged together, and you can see out that single thing. That's a really good model. And of course, we have to talk about the Nurglings. So let's talk about little gremlin Nurgling sitting on the ground. Look at that little cheeky face. I love it. And then we have the single-eyed Nurgling holding onto the flail itself. I just love Nurglings. They have so much little character. Just little cheeky little things that just add this playful joyfulness to Nurgle models, which is definitely offsets the dark, disgusting entropy of Nurgle itself. So it's very, very nice touch. Yeah, this may be one of my favorite models in there. I do love Claudius, but that's good. And finally, let me just double check I've done all. So we've had Claudius, Gerg the Foul, Claudius, Morslug, Scabbath, and we have one more model. So we have Gangras. So in all the press models, this is what you see, the question mark model. And this is what I mean by silhouette. Like, you know what this model is going to be. You know by his backpack, it's a huge backpack. You know he has a plague sword coming out the side. You know clearly straight away this is going to be a Death Guard model without even really seeing the model. Has a lot of identifiable features, particularly the plague sword and the pipes coming out of his backpack. So, finding images for this one is actually really difficult. So I've only found one somewhat dodgy looking one, but we're going to use it. I like it. I don't think it's the best model. The proportions to me are a little strange. He seems a lot taller than he should be, but that could be this particular stance, the angle of this image, a lot of the elements as well. So he has like very straight legs. He has the chaos arrows going up and down his leg, the up and down nature of the chain on his tabard, and then the helmet itself, and then the pipes. It seems to be those design elements are elongating this model out and stretching it. And I think from a different angle, it might come across in a different way. That's the first thing I think about when I see that. But I love that plague sword. Very chunky plague sword. I love the cape. I always love the gaping Nurgle maws on their stomach. Really cool. And then the different pipes coming out of the armor. Looks like this one has pipes that's been attached to the backpack and onto the shoulder as well. I think it's attached to the shoulder. I'm not 100% sure on that, simply because this is the only one we got. I really love the helmet though. I love the really long spike and that 3-hold, I guess, face piece. I think that's very, very cool. And this one comes with a plasma gun. I wish that was a little bit more Nurgle. I think you could do some cool stuff with that. Definitely, all these models are up for customization. Just buy like 2 boxes and you can do a whole bunch of stuff and create, like, keep bash them all together with some other bits and pieces and you'll have some really cool stuff. And of course, this one comes with 2 Nurgles. Now, these Nurgles are slightly different. Okay, the one at the bottom, at his legs, he has some cabling that he's either attached to himself or he's checking his heartbeat. I don't know. But then his right arm seems to be weird. It is hard to tell in this image, but it looks like it's just completely elongated and mutated. And he has almost like these 2 vent holes on his head, or vent pipes coming out. And then you have the one at the top. The poor fella has 2 mouths, one where an arm should be. Doesn't look like he has any eyes, unless those eyes are on stalks on top of his head. Very odd. I do love how some Nurgle models, you can go completely extreme and just have just bales and bales of flesh coming off them. But these 2 seem a little strange. And it looks like on his right shoulder pad, it looks like a weird face. Now, I don't know if that's just because the quality of the image or the paint job. I don't particularly like that. It looks like a grimacing mouth with an eye, and then above that, the 3-circle Nurgle symbol. I'm not sure. It's a little strange. A little odd. So there we go. Whole bunch of cool models. So I'm excited to get my hands on these. I think that they're good models overall. And like I said, you can never have too many different Death Guard models. So I'm going to leave that there. Let me know below what your favorite one is. I do love Claudius. I think that's really cool. I think I have to go for Claudius. Hey, I thought I would just jump in here right at the end as I'm editing this and let you know I missed out on a few things. So each of these models comes with 2 different heads. That means instead of 6 heads, overall you get 12. Might not sound like a lot, but as I said throughout this video, every Death Guard model should be unique, and sometimes just having different heads helps. The base kits already come with a lot of heads, now you got more. Pretty simple. Also, I've finally signed up with Element Games in the UK and set up an affiliate link. So if you look down below in the description, you can go to their webpage, click on the link, go to their webpage, buy these models. You get some cool models, and you get them at a discount normally to what you'd get from Games Workshop or Warhammer Store, and also get a little bit of a kickback. So it definitely helps the channel out. So that's all I've got to say. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. If not, hi, and I will see you in the next video.